Despite the overall impression that flank openings, one knight f3, maybe one g3 or one c4, don't confer much advantage to white, they're not that easy to meet. Basically, the weight of the struggle is being transferred away from the opening towards the middle game, or perhaps even the end game. Strategy and planning take precedence over tactics. Now in this video I want to equip you with an entire system of play, the Old Indian, which I've used with great success, as you'll see, against grandmaster opposition. You can use it against any of the flank openings, and even 1d4. I'm going to start off by showing you the basic position of the Old Indian system that can be used against all flank openings. Usually black will set up the following position. First of all, the pawn will go to e5, then the pawn goes to d6, and now black develops his knights. Knight to f6, knight b to d7, the bishop comes to e7, black's pawn goes to c6, covering important central squares, and then black castles on the king's side. And you can call this the basic position, which can be reached via many move orders and can be used against any of white's flank openings. We'll be looking at these various move orders in a moment, but what I want to illustrate now is how black can expand from this position if white just potters around doing nothing, as a lot of flank opening players do. Black can expand from this position, although it looks rather modest at the moment. And the way he does this is by careful preparation. Firstly, he can put his rook on e8 and drop the bishop back to f8. The net effect of this is that the rook protects the pawn on e5 and gives black the further possibility of playing d6 to d5. Now, not many white players are going to allow you to do this, but if they do, then you've got this nice central position. And black can further expand his game by looking to play a5, which does two things. Firstly, it restrains white on the queen side, and secondly, it prepares black for occupation of the c5 square. The c5 square either with a knight, you can see the knight has a dominating central influence on that square, or, if that isn't possible, we'll just put the knight back, then black may play his bishop out to c5, and maybe back it up with queen b6. So from an outwardly modest position, black does have excellent expansion potential. So here we've got all the pieces on the board, and we're now going to look at the various flank openings and the ways to reach our basic position against each of those. Quite a common move order for white is the King's Indian attack move order. Some people use this because it's dead easy to play, or so they think. In fact, the King's Indian attack leads to a very complicated middle game, and we can easily get our nice basic position. Right, now the basic King's Indian attack move order goes as follows. White plays knight f3. Against this, I'm recommending black play knight f6, g3, and now d6 on move 2, preparing e5. Now I think the best move here, the very best move for white, is actually d4. But quite a lot of King's Indian attack players are not going to be really geared to playing d4 early in the game. Incidentally, against d4, black should just play knight bd7 and then plough on with e5, reaching the basic position fairly shortly. But if we replace d4 with the most likely move bishop g2, then black plays e5, as normal. White castles. Black plays bishop e7, and white plays d3. Now black castles on the king's side, and white's in a bit of a dilemma. Okay, he set up his King's Indian attack position. Where does he go from here? If he plays traditionally with knight bd2, then I think black plays c6 e4, and then just simply knight bd7, followed by rook e8, bishop f8, with similar play to the example I highlighted earlier. Similar to the King's Indian attack, with some differences, is the Benko Larsen opening, which is 1 g3.